You're about to understand something that almost no man understands. What really activates the female mind in silence. It's not about kind words, expensive gifts, or desperate attempts to impress you. What makes a woman emotionally attached to a man are invisible stimuli, which are activated strategically and emotionally. It is the silent presence. It is the look that says more than a paragraph. It is that emotional touch that arouses desire more than any physical contact. Feminine psychology shows that women relate not to what is obvious, but to what they feel in an intense, unexpected, and subtle way. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men try so hard to be noticed that they become forgettable. But a man who understands emotional codes, feminine cues, feminine body language, and the right time to act doesn't need to be chased. She sticks up for herself. She misses herself. She returns of her own free will. This is not magic. It's the psychology of attraction applied with emotional intelligence. It unconsciously activates female instincts, leaving her addicted to the sensation it arouses. Today, she'll discover why simple situations, like a well-timed silence or a seemingly innocuous phrase, can stick in her mind like a powerful emotional memory. You will understand how to arouse emotional interest and not just physical interest. You'll see how to win a woman over without having to beg for attention. Most importantly, you'll learn how to be the man you're looking for, even when you don't know it yet. Comment below if you ever feel like she's suddenly changed, or write, "I understand," if you've already realized you're behaving wrongly without even knowing it. And if so far you feel like this content speaks directly to what you've always wanted to understand about female behavior, then you're already closer than many. Because this is not an ordinary video with general tips on how to win a woman over. This is an indulgence feminine psychology without a filter, designed for men who see beyond the surface, who want to master the game of attraction strategically and emotionally, without having to change who they are, just hone what they offer. If you have come this far, it is because you are part of a select group, men who no longer accept rejection without understanding why, and who do not accept being forgotten after giving their best effort. Here we tell the truth that no one has the courage to say, and we provide real tools that affect the female subconscious. And now I want to invite you to show that you are part of this. If this message relates to how you feel, write it in the comments. "I'm the guy you'll remember forever," or "I control her desire with emotional intelligence." These phrases are a symbol of our society. When you comment, you're not only taking a stand, you're also affirming that you're building this journey with thousands of other men who are opening their eyes to the reality of modern relationships. And if you don't like the video yet, now is the time. This shows me that this content needs to continue. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so now. Because in the following videos, I'll be showing you deeper techniques, and anyone here from now on will excel not only in achievement, but in everything related to emotional strength. This is the transformation you need. Your change starts with a click today. He didn't understand why, even though he was affectionate, even though he was always there, she seemed distant. He did everything right, but something about him didn't connect with her. The problem is that many men confuse physical presence with emotional presence. They are there, but in a way that does not leave a trace, does not provoke, or leaves a trace in her memory. Women, unlike men, communicate through emotional strength, not just physical touch. When a man touches a woman, he may activate a momentary desire, but when he touches her affection, he awakens a need that becomes constant. Here comes the role of the invisible emotional touch, which does not require hands, but rather perception. This is not taught in school. This is female psychology applied to attraction, and it's something that only a few men know. Most of them talk a lot and feel little. But the man who feels, who observes, who says less and provokes more, becomes unforgettable. When a man says something to her like, "There's something about the way you look today that's been on my mind," all day, he's doing more than just complimenting her. It plants an emotional feeling, a good doubt, an echo in her subconscious that will repeat for hours, perhaps days. You'll wonder what he meant by that. You will think about him in the middle of the day. You will find yourself smiling alone. This is emotional power, not manipulation. It's knowing where to touch without touching. Invisible touch is about creating a presence that stays even when you leave. This, my brother, is a little sir. Female psychology explains, when a man sets the emotional tone right, he creates a bond, creates memories, and creates desire. The more this happens naturally, the more inevitable attachment becomes. If you've ever felt like she's calmed down for no reason or withdrawn without warning, it's likely because she lacks just that, subtle emotional influence. If you understand, comment now. I wake up what no one sees, or she feels my presence even in silence. This shows that you are among those who go beyond the basics. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because here you are, part of a group of men who consider attraction to be a strategic art and not a game of chance. And if you're still here, it's because you're ready to find out the second reason. Let's go together. There is a profound difference between a man who is desirable and a man who is only remembered. The desirable person is not the one who gives everything at once, who opens up completely as if he is trying to convince the woman that he is worthy of attention. A desirable man is one who arouses constant curiosity, which partly shows itself, who makes her feel like she is always discovering something new, even after days of talking. This is the ambiguity that dominates. It's not about playing games, but about understanding how the female mind responds to emotional unpredictability. Female psychology clearly explains this through the theory of variable emotional reinforcement, which explains how her mind reacts to intermittent emotional stimuli. In other words, when a man's behavior is unpredictable, when there are pauses, silences, and small doses of intensity, her brain creates a stronger attachment pattern. She's not sure what's next, so she gets more involved. Emotional predictability is the biggest enemy of attraction. When everything is delivered instantly, there is no longer room for imagination. Feminine desire is strongly nourished by the imagination, by what is not said, and by what is between the lines. So instead of sending multiple messages to try to stay in touch, send a message that goes straight to the emotional side. Something that says little but raises a lot. Then it disappears for a few hours. Let her think. Let her feel. This space of absence creates the most powerful emotional presence of all. And in this calculated scarcity, addiction is born. And here's the thing. When she comes back, she doesn't just want to talk to you, she wants to understand you. When a woman begins to search for meaning in her silence, it is because she is already emotionally trapped. The real mystery lies in your ability not to fully explain yourself, and to leave the doors open inside her mind, to make her wonder what is inside you that has not yet been revealed. This is not arrogance, this is emotional intelligence. And you who are listening to me here so far have already proven that you are not looking for easy formulas, but for real tools. So comment now, I am the puzzle you want to decipher, or my absence speaks 1,000 words. Leave a comment if you are part of this group of men who use female psychology as the key to emotional conquest. Like the video and subscribe to the channel because we still have one more reason to reveal. And perhaps the most powerful of all. This is perhaps the most neglected point by men, and at the same time the most powerful when it is well understood. Because it's not about what you give or what you say once. It's about what you repeat with emotional intent. A woman connects to what causes an internal pattern of sensation. Her mind clings not to isolated gestures, but to emotional constancy that is repeated with meaning. When you understand this, you completely change the way you deal with it, because you stop trying to impress with something great and start building a bond based on subtle emotional effects. This is true emotional frequency control. It is silent, but powerful. When you arouse the same kind of feeling in her several times in a subtle and natural way, and always with some degree of emotional meaning, the attachment stabilizes without fuss. Unconscious attachment arises precisely from emotional consistency, not from exaggeration. It is as if you are slowly determining what place you will occupy in her emotional memory. There is an important detail. What strengthens this emotional connection is not the intensity of your presence, but the frequency you feel. This is built through small rituals that go unnoticed by those who do not understand applied feminist psychology, such as, for example, creating a communication pattern that is repeated every day with emotional variation. Something simple, but full of meaning. A sentence every night, such as, "Tomorrow I will tell you something that you would not imagine that I noticed today." This generates expectations, suspense. More than that, it generates emotional repetition that ignites emotional memories. The woman starts waiting for that moment. When she waits for something to come from you, she is already emotionally attached. This is the kind of technique that makes a man come out of the zone of oblivion and enter the category of those who are remembered by desire. And if you have come this far, you already realize that this is not a journey of ready-made phrases, but a journey of deep understanding. If this makes sense to you, comment below. I create memories that stick to the soul, or my emotional frequency is what makes them stick. Like the video and sign up now, because in the next section, I'm going to give you something that will change the game forever. Whoever is here will come forward. And if there's something that truly breaks down a woman's emotional defenses, it's not what she shows, but what you notice about her before you can even put it into words. This is a real bonus that few men know how to use. When she can name what she feels, when she calmly and accurately describes what is going on inside her, even if she doesn't have the clarity yet, she becomes something rare. Because for a woman, deep understanding is more intimate than any physical contact. In this silent emotional reading, a feeling of deep connection is born. She cannot resist a man who sees in her what others ignore. Female psychology shows that the most lasting influence is always the influence that passes through the sphere of internal, nonverbal feelings. When you feel that you understand what is behind the gesture, the silence, the look, you begin to trust. Where there is emotional trust, there is room for persistent desire. You don't have to be perfect or talk too much. You have to be aware. You need to use attention as a language. Pay attention to what you don't say, what you hide, and what escapes in small details. This is what distinguishes the ordinary person from the one who becomes unforgettable. That's why I repeat it here on the channel whenever necessary. Attraction is not luck, but an emotional strategy. And you're here because you want to do more than just conquer. You want to master the art of emotionally connecting with intelligence. And since you've made it this far, I'll give you one more thing. In the next video, I'll reveal one sentence. One. Only one. This has the potential to make her think about you all day, even if she's surrounded by distractions. This phrase, when used correctly, activates a powerful emotional image that will have her searching for you before she even thinks about sending a message. Anyone who follows this series to the end will be prepared for more than just conversations. You'll know how to create emotional connections that you won't even be able to explain. If this resonates with you, comment here. I read what you feel without saying it, or I use emotional psychology as a weapon to attract me. This shows that you are part of those who dominate the silent game of conquest. Like this video, subscribe now and turn on notifications, because what comes next could completely change the way you see yourself. And if everything you've heard so far has stirred something inside you, a feeling that you're finally understanding what previously seemed confusing, that's a sign that you can't stop here. This content was created especially for you, who is tired of not understanding female signals, and who has already felt frustrated trying to please her and still being ignored. Here on the channel, we talk about attraction as it actually happens, based on emotional strategy, behavioral reading, and psychology applied to what happens between a man and a woman when the language is no longer verbal, but sensual. And if you've already realized that your attitudes thus far may have been pushing you away more than connecting you, now is the time to take matters into your own hands. Not the other, but from yourself. Here I teach female psychology without a filter. No fuss, no packaged formulas, no magic promises. Only the emotional truth that turns ordinary men into men who spark sustained desire, true connection, and a strong presence in any woman's life. But to do this, you need consistency. Knowledge only generates results when you apply, practice, observe, and then come back to learn more. Each new video is another step towards your emotional mastery, and your development cannot depend on luck. She needs a decision, and now you have two choices: leave and forget everything, or continue and become a man who deeply understands the feminine universe. If this content has opened your mind, It proves to me and to yourself that you are committed to this change. Activate the bell, leave a like, and comment below which of the 3 reasons made you think about it more now. Which of the 3 sparked that moment that is still etched in your memory? What made you realize that maybe you were wrong about what seemed completely right? Also comment if you already use any of these emotional triggers, or if this video is your first contact with the real psychology of attraction. To show that you are part of this community of men who no longer accept forgetting, write one of these phrases in the comments. I am the man you will never forget, or I build desire with emotional intelligence. Now watch the pinned comment, because the second part of this content may completely change the way you communicate with any woman. Watch it now before it disappears from your life.